Apple TV has landed Formula One's broadcasting rights deal in the United States. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it disastrous? I think you will know, from the short that I made earlier this morning when it first broke. This is an unmitigated disaster. Now, before we get into this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any football, racing, or anything else that I end up doing on this channel. So, without further ado, let's dive into this bad boy. From motorsport.com, Philip Clearing something. We need simpler names. I know I'm butchering it. Leave me alone. The tech giant Apple is taking over F1's broadcast rights in the United States from ESPN in a deal worth more than $140 million per year. So, let's dive into this. Streaming platform Apple TV has won the bid to exclusively broadcast Formula One in the United States from 2026, signing a 5-year deal with F1's commercial rights holder. Apple has long been a front-runner in the race against current rights holder ESPN to take over the F1 streaming rights in the US, with the tech giant also behind the blockbuster F1 movie that became the highest-grossing sports movie of all time. Over the United States Grand Prix weekend in Austin, Apple and F1 management officially announced they had agreed to a 5-year deal to bring the series to the tech giant streaming platform Apple TV between 2026 and I'm going to assume through 2030, because you go 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030. No figures were announced, but it's $140 million. And from 2026 onwards, all practice, qualifying, and racing will be behind the Apple TV paywall, and will also offer a Spanish language option. I will not be a part of that broadcast team. I do not know Spanish. Yeah, that's about it. I was gonna make a joke, but I will refrain. Because this whole thing is a big enough joke in itself. The Apple contract means the existing F1 TV service will no longer be available as a standalone service in the US. Now, there's an important word here, standalone. It will not be on its own. You will no longer have F1 TV by itself. It's not going to be something that you can just go, oh, I'll just take that right off the shelf. That is no longer a thing. However, F1 TV Premium will be in a regular Apple TV subscription, which costs $12.99 per month, which is pretty much the same. So, so if you're already paying for F1 TV, that you're just going to Apple. You're just switching it to Apple TV, and no big deal. Now, the streaming deal also presents a landmark shift in F1 broadcasting as the sport attracts younger fans and more diverse fan base in its Drive to Survive era. Actually, before I get more into that. So, if you're already watching on F1 TV, you're literally just going from one platform to another. And you're getting a little bit more of whatever crap content that Apple's putting out. And make no mistake, Apple TV has not produced anything worth a damn. From what I heard, Ted Lasso's alright, but Ted Lasso's good in like the first couple seasons, and then it just goes completely downhill. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm going to begrudgingly subscribe to Apple TV to continue to watch F1. I'm not gonna stand on the flag and be like, I'm never watching it again. I'm not gonna do that. I get too much joy out of watching Formula One. If you want that whole rah rah speech, you ain't getting it here. I'm still gonna get it. I'm still gonna complain about it, but I'm still gonna get it. Whatever you want to say about that, I could care less. But anyway, so the streaming deal also presents a landmark shift in F1 broadcasting as the sport attracts a younger and more diverse fan base in its Drive to Survive era. The 2025 Global Fan Survey conducted by Motorsport Network and Formula One found that 47 oh goodness gracious, I need to learn to talk. 47% of new U.S. Formula One fans are aged 18 to 24, and over half are female, with younger audiences more likely to turn to streaming services rather than linear TV. Okay, so yes, that is technically true. That statement is not wrong. However, Apple TV is not that premier service. It is the lowest of the giants in streaming. I'll show you that here in a minute. Like, yeah, younger people are streaming more, but they're still streaming. YouTube TV is still streaming. Hulu Live is still streaming. Fubo is still streaming. I mean, you get it. But Stefano Domenicali, the F1 CEO and president, this is an incredibly exciting partnership for both Formula One and Apple that will ensure we can continue to maximize our growth potential within the U.S. with the right content and innovate and distribution channels. Keyword: growth. That is no longer happening. With this deal, you have maxed it out. You are going behind a paywall. A much more serious paywall. There's a difference between going on to ESPN and stuff like that, as opposed to going to Apple TV. And yes, it's readily available in every home that has internet. Problem is, nobody actually uses it. That's your big that's a problem. You're not going to be growing. And Apple TV is going to say, "Oh, we're growing. They're not. Getting a new phone, upgrading your Apple phone gets you a free subscription service for like 3 months. And people will also get the Apple One service. That is an Apple TV that comes with an Apple TV subscription. And how they do that is when you get the Apple One perk or service, whether it be for the cloud storage, whether it be for the arcade, Apple TV itself, it counts as an Apple TV subscription. So that is, yeah. Yeah. So that's what we call fudging the numbers. So of the 25 million paid Apple TV users, you have to ask yourself, how many are actually using Apple TV? Or is it Apple TV a part of a package? Because the free, which means they're not paying, is double the pay. Which tells us 50% of people don't want to pay for it. They're not willing to pay for it. So, and yeah, there's the growth numbers that are being fudged. And yeah, you got growth. The percentage of Apple TV users are 26%. 12% under 18, the lowest. And yeah, a lot of the percent of users make that up, but under 18, they're not sitting and watching Apple TV. And over 55 don't even know what Apple TV is. So there's that. And I know, and I defended NASCAR when they went to Prime because of a few reasons. One, NASCAR has a solid foothold in the United States, obviously. Two, Prime is readily available in more homes than people realize because every NASCAR fan's wife has Amazon Prime if they don't even have it themselves for the free 2-day shipping. And when you look at it all, you have the breakdown. Amazon, Netflix, those two make up almost half of the market share. And then you have Max. And then you have Disney Plus. And then you have Hulu. Then Paramount Plus and Apple TV. Now, that Paramount Plus number, that is going to balloon because of the UFC deal that they were able to ink. That Paramount Plus, they're going to grow probably they're probably going to sit between Disney and Max by the time we get halfway through the UFC deal. Because they are absolutely going to balloon up. Because that is a home run get for Paramount Plus. Now, when you look at the market share, this is one of the reasons why I defended NASCAR in signing with Amazon Prime. On top of that, they brought in Dale Jr. That is huge. Carl Edwards, huge. Amazon Prime, their presentation of their races was tremendous. They made it feel big. And Sky Sports does a very good job with making each and every Grand Prix feel big. They do a very good job of that. And you're going to get that. But with F1, they're used to it feeling big. Amazon Prime with NASCAR, for NASCAR fans, making an event feel big was a foreign concept because Fox had done a horrible job at it. NBC wasn't any better. And Amazon Prime comes in and they make this thing feel special. They make it mean something. And all credit to Prime and everything that they did. But NASCAR, that's 22% of the market share. I mean, it is a massive massive platform. So, I mean, that's why I was praising NASCAR, not trying to hop down their throat like I am with F1 and Apple TV. And plus, on top of all of that, if you signed up for Amazon Prime, you got a 30-day free trial which covers all the races that happened during Amazon Prime's stint with NASCAR. So you weren't paying extra. Here, it is the full season. You will be paying for Apple TV if you want to watch the races. For Amazon Prime, you didn't have to. So, and then frequency of watching Apple TV Plus. This is another massive red flag. 2% said multiple times they watch Apple TV multiple times a day. Once daily, a few times per week. It is all below 5%, up until you get to never, ever do I turn on Apple TV. This is the concerning number. If you want growth, that cannot be 80%. You cannot have people never watching Apple TV. That's a problem. And I can guarantee you that 6% of male that have watched Apple TV a few times, it was Ted Lasso. It was either Ted Lasso or baseball and maybe MLS. I mean, you look at these numbers and it is just astonishing. And how in the world could you possibly conceive that this is a good move for Formula One? How did the people negotiating this for Formula One say that this was a good deal? This is good for us. Yeah, you're getting $140 million a year. Problem is, you're looking at maybe $20,000 per person watching. I mean, the viewership is going to be plummeting at an alarming rate. And it sucks because I love the sport. I want to cover it on this channel. But if nobody in America is going to bother to go and watch it, there isn't going to be an incentive for me to cover it. Obviously, I have full intentions on covering Formula One next year. I'm going to see how it all goes. But if it continues to be a steady decline, I don't know. I don't know. And I want this sport to grow. But by God, you gotta help yourself too. And in doing this, over $50 million is insane. And I get $50 million is an insane amount of money for anybody. For Formula One, it is not. I mean, golly. You got to get a solid foothold before you start pulling this crap. I mean, hey, it's Formula One's funeral. If they want to pull this crap, then let them. Good freaking Lord. I mean, it would have made so much more sense for them to go to Netflix. It would have made so much more sense for them to go to Amazon Prime. It would have made so much more sense for them to be on normal television. Now let me allow me to tell you a little story here of how I became an F1 fan. So, 2017, the Australian Grand Prix, the season opener. You have a very exciting race in the battle of Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, he's able to undercut Lewis Hamilton, gain the lead, and win the race. I was hooked. And then we got busy, didn't really get good opportunities to watch F1. And then came Silverstone 2021, as many might remember. That was when Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, they got together, they hit tires. Max Verstappen got sent off of the Cobb's corner into the tire barrier at like 90 Gs. Like, it might have been 60, I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But obviously, insane wreck. From there, I was hooked. The story week to week was incredible between Max and Lewis. And from there, I've been hooked and have not missed a single race since. So, if Apple TV was not on, or if F1 was on Apple TV, I would have never stumbled upon Formula One. The opportunity for that to happen now is over for the next 5 years. It's done. And now F1 will have to work for the next 15 years to get back to where they are right now after this 5-year stint. Because this is a mistake of epic proportions for Formula One. It sucks. It kind of I mean, I don't know what else to say other than this is the end of F1 growing in America, and it's especially frustrating because F1 had I should say a unique opportunity. NASCAR had been horribly run for a decade and a half. IndyCar had that whole situation with IRL. They split, came back together. Now they have the whole Penske cheating scandals left and right, along with Roger Penske himself owning the sport and owning IMS. I mean, IndyCar's a mess. And F1 had this amazing opportunity to really grab the American attention. And they failed. With this move, it is an absolute failure. Absolute, utter failure. And now Americans, they're going to turn to the Cars Tour on Flow Racing. Some may turn back to NASCAR because it sounds like they're beginning to realize that, oh yeah, we're wetting the bed on this. Some fans have said that they'll just turn to IndyCar. And then you'll have other fans turn to dirt racing. Whether it's at the local dirt track, whether it's on Flow Racing, whether it's the World Outlaws, or that series that Kyle Larson is running. But F1 had a unique opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to grab American motorsports attention and never let go. And they stiff-armed that opportunity. So, But hey, they're smarter than us, apparently. They're definitely smarter than me, allegedly. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see where we're at after this TV deal is done and see what the next TV deal is going to be. So, I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is the Dylan Hildreth Show. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any racing, football, all that jazz. And we'll see you in the next one.